Here we go.
Coming through.
Wow, here we go. And we're live. We did it. Holy cow. The most patient man in the world is on the show today again. And his name is Mr. Seymour Rifkin. Mr. Riff, how are you?
I'm great. Curtis, how you doing?
Do you really want to know? No, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thanks. For those of you of our new listeners and old listeners and YouTubers, and please subscribe to the Pickleball Show with Curtis Reese. We now have his channel. One day I'll say the Pickleball Show with Seymour Rifkin and Curtis Reese. No, I'm just kidding, but we're glad to have you on the show. Please subscribe to that. That's my plug for my chief content officer. He's yelling at me to do that, but please subscribe. So we got Seymour Rifkin on. He is our first, the president and CEO of the International Pickleball Teaching Professional Association. I got it right.
You got it right, man. IPTPA, go.
All day, every day. IPTPA, baby. That's what I say. I'm serious. Anyway, I got certified level 2 through this young man in front of me. He came on the show last year. He's always a staple and always welcome on here because with all his major information and amazing positive attitude to deal with dorks like me. So, so how you doing, Riff?
Yeah, all good, all good. Busy like everybody else in pickleball. Things just exploding everywhere, right?
Oh yeah. Well, tell us about that. Tell us about the IPTPA right now. Junior stuff, adult stuff. What's shaking so we can have some people join our lovely organization.
Yeah, well, IPTPA, for those that aren't aware, was the first teaching organization in the sport of pickleball. We started back in 2014, 2015. And our major initiative this year, actually for the past couple of years, has been junior development.
Yes.
We've partnered with a couple of other IPTPA instructors, and a book was put out called First Steps, about 150, 160 page book that is published by Human Kinetics. Human Kinetics is the publisher that is responsible for probably 90% of all of the content at the educational institutes from kindergarten all the way through college. So they're a major supplier, and having a book on pickleball for PE teachers is a big deal because it's filled with good quality drills and instruction. Obviously, all IPTPA. We also developed a junior certification program. We put together a committee of all U.S. Open or national champions who are also elementary school teachers.
Wow.
So we've got the best of the best,
Oh, yeah.
Putting together a highly sound fundamental system based on science, research, best teaching techniques for beginning and introducing pickleball to the 5-year-olds and up.
Oh, wow. Speaking of that, real quick, you want to tell us who those pros that you're working with IPTPA are? So maybe somebody can look them up.
Yeah, well, Stephanie Lane is one of our key people. She taught elementary school, still does it in Nashville. Steve Paranto is another.
Great.
Steve's a Pickleball Hall of Famer. We had Zorano Tubo from out east. Let me think. This goes back a ways. So, when you get to be an old fart like me, my memory is not as good as it was.
Shut up, man. You're awesome. You kidding me? No, it's great. Whatever you told us, just those pros are just a good start. I do an apology because I am a member of the IPTPA, and I have not even looked at that book yet, and I am going to look at it because at Green Hill School where I'm at, I know they're talking about it.
Yeah.
And they're also doing it at my boys' old elementary school. I'm giving them that, to talk to them about that in the summer because they're starting a pickleball program there. That's so cool because I remember you talking about that in 2019, and I was like, this guy has lost his marbles. I mean, what's he mean Pickleball Hall of Fame elementary PE? What? And I wasn't. It's not obviously. It's not. I'm not. No disrespect. I was just.
No, I know.
It was very like it got my attention because I was like, that is so cool because.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, I've always been real forward thinking,
yes.
and just to build on that. Next week, I'm attending the General Assembly of the YMCA.
Oh, wow.
They meet every 3 years worldwide, and they want to partner with IPTPA to introduce pickleball at YMCAs across the world. So again, we know that pickleball as a sport is gaining in popularity, of
Yes.
course. The future is all with children, and
Yes,
the more
sir.
kids that we can get that get introduced, several great things happen. I like to look at pickleball. You know, I love
Yes, sir.
pickleball. You know, I competed
Absolutely.
in 25 to 30 tournaments a year,
Hmm.
so I'm a I'm a high level competitor
Hmm.
until I started all these organizations. Then I hardly ever play anymore. But what I love most about
Stupid job.
pickleball, Curtis, is that it's a vehicle to change the world.
Yes.
And a good friend of mine, Steve Kuhn, who's on my board at World Pickleball Federation, you know, he's embraced that view as well. I've just seen it happen in so many different places. You know, earlier you were telling me about a friend of yours that, you know, has introduced pickleball in prisons. Well,
Hmm.
we introduced pickleball in Cook County Prison here in Illinois about 8 years ago, and you know, he because he specializes in that area. He's probably got more stories than I do, but you know, oftentimes, you know, there's gang activities and people are knifing each other, and then they're on the court playing, and they're going, "Hey, this guy's a pretty cool dude," you know.
Don't make a bad
I don't
line
want to
call,
be. I
guys.
don't want
Don't
to be
make a bad
sticking him
line
with a
call in
knife.
prison.
So,
Oh,
so you know, pickleball is just it's an easy sport to learn. It's so
yes.
social, it's
Mhm.
fun, and people don't care what you did or what you do. If you love pickleball and you know we're close to each other because of the 7 foot line on each side of the net, right? So there's a lot of trash talk
Yeah.
and you know socially,
I've
you know,
seen
it's
you do
just
that, by the way.
yeah,
Talk
it's
trash
just
on the
you know
court for Seymour.
socially you walls get broken down
Yeah.
and you know I don't know if I mentioned it to you when I was on last, but you know I did a documentary in Israel and one of the things that documentary did was when I first introduced pickleball there in
Hmm.
2017.
Keep going.
I hadn't been back obviously because of COVID for a while, and when I did go back in 2021, you know, I found out that in one town that I did an exhibition at and got, you know, worked with a bunch of the tennis people at a club in Haifa. Um, that is a community that, like most of the Middle East, but this one probably more than many, is populated by a very diverse population of you know Muslims, Jews, Christians, Hindus, etc. And there's been hatred that has been there for thousands of years, right? People that you know just were
Mhm.
raised saying, you
Yes.
know, they did this, they did that, you hate them, you know,
Hmm.
don't talk to them, you know,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And you know what I found out is that you know a couple of people that were head of a Muslim religious center and a rabbi and a priest were all playing pickleball on the court together and from that you know they were never able to sit down in a room and talk politics and talk about you know what was best for Haifa,
Yeah.
but they got to know each other on the pickleball court.
Yeah.
And the documentary
Oh, wow.
is
What's
just
it called?
shows how diverse religions can come together and break down barriers and begin to talk and communicate. And now, you know, they talk after pickleball. They have dinner
That's
together. They're at
great.
each other's homes, all because of
I
pickleball.
know. Yeah, you're right. So they
So
all got together because of pickleball. You know, they said,
yeah,
like you said, or you said this, or my dad said as well. Sport doesn't only uh, build character; it reveals, and
yeah.
obviously it revealed great characters of all of those people that are on that court together. I love it.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
the
I think you know what it shows is that as human beings, we all
yes,
have a lot more in common than we realize, right? And whatever your religious, you know, beliefs may be, whatever your race is, wherever whatever country you come from,
yeah,
for the most part, the most important things, you know, is we all want, you know, to be able to be loved and to have security and to have an opportunity. And you know, pickleball just you know is a great way to just you know have fun and to realize that there's a lot more in common and have some laughs
yeah.
and when there's the joy of playing and you know a passion that you develop and there's a commonality there, it's
Uh-huh.
easy to begin to talk and break down the barriers maybe that 1,000 years said you know this is the way you got to behave and you're going no I don't think so.
Come
So
on,
it's a
just
cool
pickle,
thing.
just pickle. Come on, let's pickle. That's all there
Yeah,
is to
let's
it.
just pickle, that's it, that's the answer.
What I may have missed this, Seymour. Is it a what's the name of the documentary? that people want to look it up?
Dinking Across Faith. It's on YouTube. It's about a 25-minute documentary. It's worth a look.
All right.
It's not just about pickleball, but I
Yes.
mean,
Sure.
you got to understand it's the bigger,
Picture.
it's the bigger item of what pickleball can do. And if you just want to look for techniques and you want to see, Ben Johns, it ain't that, right? But Ben and all of our pros there's no shortage of film, and YouTube releases through PPA and APP and all that. So this is just something a little bit different. But again,
Yes,
I love the pros, and I love giving them a greater opportunity to showcase their talents. And last year I brought a team of open pros and senior pros because we were accepted as an IOC sanctioned exhibition sport in Israel at the World Maccabi Games. Mm-hmm. And then I know you're probably not aware of this because it's kind of recent news, but the Pan American Maccabi Games are in Buenos Aires this December and January, and we being pickleball got accepted as a participating sport this year.
We're dropping this next week, so people are going to see this. That's awesome.
So this is a major step towards the Olympics, which I know that.
Oh yeah.
I was the first maniac to talk about us being in the Olympics.
Elaborate on that, please, will you? Elaborate in the International Olympic Committee. Tell us about that. Remind people about what all you've done. It's an awesome story.
Yeah. Well, when I first started IPTPA, I shared with the top 20 players in the world. Who I presented, kind of a 5-year plan of what I thought pickleball needed. And I shared with them at that time that, my dream is to see us in the Olympics. And, I know that it starts with a teaching organization. And so, if you can support it and you can help put it together, you're the experts, you're the top people. That's step one. Step two is, what's being done on the international front from a governing body's position. And, there was a governing body which the USAP put together called IFP. But unfortunately, they had a good idea. They wanted to grow pickleball internationally, but they never did anything. So A, the fact that they didn't do anything, and B, the fact that it wasn't made up of representatives from all the other continents, that organization recently has now fallen apart.
Oh, wow.
So, I started World Pickleball Federation back in December of 2018. And so we are the only international governing body presently that has met the very first requirement, which is that you have to be in existence for 5 years. So, it's our intent to actually apply for IOC membership. The other bit of new news, which has not been confirmed yet, but there is a strong possibility that pickleball can be accepted at the Asian Games as an exhibition sport this September and October.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. The Asian Games is one of the largest international sporting events in the world.
Wow.
You've got like 30 or 40 other sports there, and it's being held in China this year. And I can tell you that the host facility is very excited. They want pickleball to be showcased. They want it to be a showcased event. So, when you ask what are we up to, I mean, the wheels are never not turning. The wheels are never not turning, man. It's all going forward.
I know. That's why you're always going to be on here, because you're not going anywhere. So I love it, man. I love it. I knew there was a reason why I wanted to keep you around. No, I'm just kidding. I always want you around. Well, that's fascinating news. And again, I remember talking about this in 2019. I remember you saying that in March 2019, about 2018 at the end, when you got those approvals and started those organizations. And I kept thinking, remember how have you ever seen that movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind? You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Remember this means something. Remember that? That's where I was like, all this stuff is, number one, a mentor, Craig Bell, love you, buddy, got me here to play. And I saw you guys battling it out. And I'm like, okay, that's a huge thing right there. I should be paying attention. Number two, I get to run a program at Royal Oaks, first pickleball pro. Number three, I've been sitting down for 3 hours listening to Seymour, Rifkin, and Matt Ladd's talk. So apparently, this means something. I'm serious. I went home and Melody goes, so you didn't get to the bathroom every 5 seconds? I said, no. That's Melody's my wife. I said, no. She goes, oh, okay. Well, enjoy it.
Well, you were an early adopter, man, because back in 2019, there wasn't a lot of tennis people
Thank
that
you,
were
brother. Did you hear that?
Pickleball.
Did you hear that, people? One more time, Seymour. I was.
Curtis Reese was one of the early adopters
See?
of pickleball,
Yeah.
coming from tennis, moving over to pickleball. Or I
Oh,
shouldn't say moving over because kind of just sharing the space,
yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
There's
sir.
room for
No,
both. There's room for
I
both.
can't fill your shoes, man. But we do have a lot of good things that are going on here with the show too. Seymour gave us the green light to use the IPTPA image with our shows. Let them know that we support them and they support the show. And we've got some other ones: TCD Pickleball, Chicken and Pickle, um, the Oasis Pickleball Club, working with the PPA. Thanks for talking today, Mr. Brian. Anyway, so there's a lot of things that are working, and you are. I guess you're digging what I'm. I guess what's that old saying? You drinking from the punch or something like that. What's that old saying they say?
Yeah, I don't know if you're asking me to remember old sayings. Just remember, I'm old. I
No,
don't
you're
remember
not.
them
You
the
don't look
sayings.
old. Well, look, man, I guess that's all we got. I'm going to check back in with you in probably a few months and have you back on and just keep us posted about the Korean games. I want to know more about that. And
Asian games, Asian
I'm
games.
sorry, excuse me, pardon me.
That's
Asian
okay.
games. Sorry. Will you be going to that or you gonna?
Well, I've got a pretty hectic schedule in September. I'm actually going to be in Asia.
Okay.
I'm visiting. I start out in Thailand, then I go to Bhutan.
Okay.
Another new initiative that IPTPA is doing
What's
this
that?
year. We're using Bhutan as a pilot program. We're giving free certifications to a bunch of the Bhutanese. We're helping to donate money to help build courts there.
Oh, wow.
And we've got a bunch of IPTPA people that are coming along. They're going to be there for 2 weeks. I'm going to be there for a week. And I want this program to be duplicated every year, infinity to a third world country that doesn't have the funds to be able to pay for teachers. They don't have the funds to be able to have paddles. IPTPA sent 55 paddles over there. We're helping to build 3 courts, and we're getting teachers certified, all free of charge. And we want to do that every year at another third world country because, like I said, pickleball is a sport that changes people's lives. And I don't ever want money to interfere with being able to provide an opportunity, whether that's with a third world nation or whether it's somebody that's in a wheelchair or blind. That's another initiative we're doing at IPTPA. We're creating programs like on World Pickleball Day. I spent a day doing a free clinic at a hospital in Michigan that specializes in working with the disabled people that have lost limbs and that are in wheelchairs or blind and deaf and all that. People like that that served our country in the war and lost limbs and came back, but they've never been the same, right? They're depressed
Yeah.
and they've got a high rate of suicide. I mean, what pickleball does for them? Man, it gives them a whole reason for living.
Yes.
It beyond the fun
Yeah.
and the addiction and everything else, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's the beauty of
Mhm.
pickleball. So, IPTPA and myself, whenever I have opportunities, I want to be able to make an impact through pickleball, to be able to bring joy and love and to change lives for the positive.
Golly, I mean, this guy's got my heart going a million miles an hour. I'm so excited. You know what? You're like the beginning, the middle, and the end of a show, man. You're like awesome. You don't need an opening band. You don't need an opening act. You need a closing act. You just got the Seymour Rifkin show, baby.
No time for that, man. That's why we got you, buddy. You're the
Whatever.
man. You're the man. Just have me on every once in a while.
I
I'll fill
will.
you up. I'll get you motivated.
Yeah.
Get your audience motivated. That if you haven't tried pickleball, get on the bandwagon, baby.
If you want to teach it, IPTPA is the way to go, man. Seriously, I'm
Yeah,
there. So
I
is
know.
he. So hey, look, I'm gonna let you go. So how would people get in touch with you? Our future listeners, current listeners, and past listeners. Get
Yeah,
in touch
really
with you.
easy. My email's RIF at IPTPA.com.
And
Need
mine.
information, website's IPTPA.com. But we're excited. We brought on some additional staff,
That's awesome.
and we like I said, we want to provide high quality instruction. We're a non-for-profit organization. We're the only teaching organization that's non-for-profit. I don't make a penny in anything that I do for pickleball.
I know
My
that.
my greatest joy is seeing the game grow, not just by quantity but by quality, and
Yeah.
that's what IPTPA is all about: creating the best teaching standard in the sport.
Um, that's why you picked me, right?
You picked us, baby. I didn't pick you, Curtis.
Whatever. Look, I'm Curtis at ReeseRacketSports.com. And remember, try to subscribe. You'll see more of this young man, Mr. Seymour Rifkin, back on the show. It's the Pickleball Show with Curtis Reese on YouTube. And peace all over the world. IPTPA, Mr. Riff. Take it easy.
Thank you, Curtis.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Coming through.
Good stuff, Curtis.
You're the best, man. I'm telling you.